Okay, so fuzzy duplicates is a new feature that ACL has provided that allows you to produce more close matches to improve your test results. And in a way, it gives you a lot more results to work with in ACL, which may or may not be what you want, but we'll kind of talk you through that. This is the new outlook, or this is the new page or dialogue that you take a look at when you work on fuzzy duplicates. You can only do it on one field. I mean, you could concatenate fields together as a computed field and work off of that if you'd like, but for the most part, you kind of don't want to do that, because I think the more you put into this thing, the more it's going to kick out a lot of results that you might not want. So it's definitely something that you probably want to be careful about doing that. And if you notice here on the screen, we have fuzzy duplicates on name. Difference threshold is where it's either 3 characters or less different. Difference percentage, we're going to talk through, but it's basically where the percentage of the difference to the total number of characters in that field is 50% in that case, or 50%. And then the result size is it can be, in this case, up to 10 times the original file. If it exceeds 10 times the original file, it will stop. And I'm not going to include exact duplicates for right now, and I'm going to send that to a thing called fuzzy test. So ACL kind of works from a fuzzy perspective. And this was the one command that I did want to show everyone today that is a little bit different and provides some more functionality. Basically, I created this table, and the table name is called close match table, and we have the name field, and then I have a cleaner name field that I put over here. And this is a new function in ACL. I just wanted to show you this. So I'm using a function called the omit function. The omit function allows you to omit actual words from data files. So corporation, corp, incorporated, etc. Can be deleted. And notice here in my data I have like RBL Corporation, RBL Corp, RBL Inc., etc. And in this name cleaner, I'm using the omit function. I then put the name in there with a comma, and then I put the first word I'd like to exclude, the second word I'd like to exclude, and the third word I'd like to exclude. And that gets me that name cleaner type file there, or field. And notice here you can kind of see, it really does take out corp, corporation, incorporated. So, a few different things. I mean, you could run it on the original table, or you can run it on this name cleaner. I'm going to go one step further here, and I'm pretty sure ACL did this, but I'm just going to, just for argument's sake, for my own edification, I'll add an all trim in there just to get rid of all spaces. But now my understanding is that the fuzzy duplicate does not really care about spaces in the data. So okay, let's kind of go now to our analyze, and notice at the far bottom you have this item called fuzzy duplicates in here as an option. By selecting that, oops, it was automatically kind of jumping there because I had selected that field. It's going to fuzzy duplicates on name cleaner. Maybe I'll include both of the fields in there. Now you have a few options here. I could just work off of, and maybe just for our sake we should do this first, is say let's look at a difference threshold of 1. The other thing that I could do is take a look for the difference percentage being 50%, or let me just make sure of this, or greater of that, or 50% or less of that item. So what can happen here, and this will come up a little bit later, but if you can see in the data I have ABC and XYZ. If I say, show me things that are 3 different, so the threshold here is 3, and let me get rid of the difference percentage. Like I could care less about difference percentage. ABC and XYZ are 100% different. It's because there's 3 characters, 3 character difference divided by 3 characters in the field equals 100%. So if I take away that difference percentage, it doesn't care about it. It basically will include that. And that's sort of a false positive, I'm more interested in seeing like, ABC. I'm trying to think of a good example here. But let's say if we had a longer field name here, like Rich LB, if I do include that difference percentage and say difference threshold 3, difference percentage 50%, then if I do have a 3 character difference, that 3 characters out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 or 8 characters, that is less than 50%. So we can show that. That's okay to show. But if it starts getting to a point where the 3 characters and the total field size is 6, then I don't want to see that, because it's showing me that 3 of 6 and greater, 4 of 6, 5 of 6, that basically it really is showing that those items, as opposed to if there's only, say, 2 characters or 3 characters in the field, if there's a 3 character difference, that's showing more of like this 100% difference scenario. So again, you almost have to play with this a little bit to see what you really want to get out of it. But I think the general rule of the 50% that ACL puts in there is not a bad rule. It's sort of saying, 3 into 6, basically, that, if you have a field that is 6 characters big and it has 3 different, that you'll still look at it. But if you start having 3 character field and 3 different, that you really don't care about that. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. The result size, again, you can get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of it because our data file is so small and it's not really that big of a deal. So I'm going to get rid of it. But what ACL is trying to avoid is where your system is just working overdrive, and you can go up to 1,000% here. The difference percentage, the maximum is 99%. You actually can't go to 100, but that's 99. But I'll deselect that. And let's just say we're going to look for anything that's 1 different right now. And we'll do this to a file, called fuzzy dupes1. Whoops. And hit the OK button, which is down here. And I will overwrite that. So these are the results. This is, what results do we get? The first one is a group starting with the word RBL. And with that RBL, you have RL. Again, that's 1 character off from RBL. RL, another one showing up as record number 2. Again, one is RL Inc. and one is RL Corp. So that's why it's showing up. RBJ, all right. Again, RBL, RBJ, and then RB. Being 1 character off of RBL. So, everything here is dependent on this first kind of item, how different from that first item. It's 1 off. Same thing here, Rich L, Roke L, Rich BL, Roke BL. Excuse me, actually, this Rich L and Roke L are 1 off. Rich BL and Roke BL are 1 off. ABC and ABCD are 1 off, and it's kind of set up based on this group. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what happens to group like 2 and 3 and 4 and 6? This is where it was finding duplicates within the fuzzy. So it was almost like, Roke L and Rich L. Let's just play this out here. Roke L and Rich L would if Roke L was up in that group number 6, let's say, as an item, it noticed, ACL realized, wait a second, I already have a Rich L, Roke L matched up, so let me delete that so that I don't show it twice. And in a way, it would be creating like duplicates within this duplicate analysis, and that didn't make sense. So this is a way of then kind of grouping items, but also removing false positive type duplicates. So this is the 1 character difference, trying to explain a bit of that difference percentage to everybody so that hopefully that makes sense. Again, here, this would be like a 33rd, RBL and RL, let's say RBL and RL being different. This is like a 33% difference. RBL and RBJ is like, again, 1 off, and this would be, again, like a 33% difference of 3. So anyway, hopefully that helps in understanding the difference percentage as well that comes with ACL. Let's go back to the close match table. Now we'll do fuzzy duplicates. We're going to put in a 2. Again, get rid of my difference percentage for the moment. and get rid of the result size because I don't care. In this case, I'm going to do it on name cleaner in this case, and I'll list out both of these fields. Do this to a file called fuzzy dupes. Whoops, 2. Keep doing that, and then hit the OK button. That's okay. And again, now we're 2 characters different, right? So RBL, RL, RL, RBJ, ABC. Notice A and C versus R and L. So that, again, that's 2 different. Everything else kind of follows the same logic. You start to get more and more results, right? Now I used to have 11 records. Now I have 16 records in the data file. And we'll just do one more. I don't want to belabor this too much here, but I think you'll appreciate this. And I do want to note, you can go to your log, also go to the fuzzy dupes command, and instead of like Levenstein lev distance 2, I can change this to lev distance 3 and change that to file fuzzDupes 3, go into my command and log just to kind of check, does everything look okay. I'm going to get rid of that difference percentage, and I'll show you why in a second, and difference threshold of 3. Oops, sorry. And hit that OK button. And I hope that just worked there. Hold on one second. Okay. And notice here, again, even though this is like 100% different, RBL and ABC, like we talked about, because I got rid of the difference percentage, it shows up in our analysis, which is a little off. It's like something you really don't want to have happening. So hopefully I can get this to work here. Let me just go back to my close match table, and we'll go into that log, and kind of this time I'm going to do 3 modified, and instead of it, I'm going to now actually say difference percent of 50% or less, with a difference threshold of 3, kind of following the same logic here. And if I open up that fuzzy dupes 3 mod, notice now the difference. I mean, where here I have the ABC, the XYZ showing up in the 3 mod. Oop, I may have. Oh. So the 3 mod, notice that ABC and XYZ are not showing up because it would have represented a 100% difference. So not to belabor that point, but I do think that that difference percentage is what throws a lot of people. The result size, you need to be a little careful and not create too big of a file in ACL, and that's why we want to work with that. But with that said, I think it's a great little function, something that you can utilize. And even though I'm only doing it on this very clean field, I do that on purpose to limit how many duplicates I get. But also note that you have the record number over here, so that if you do identify, that these items are in group 1, let's say, that you can then essentially utilize this record number over here for your analysis purposes of kind of aligning back to the original data set, and that group number obviously is right here as well, so that you can align that back to the original data set.